Hey guys, welcome along to GT Rumble, round 2 tonight, coming to us from sunny Spain, Motorland, Aragon. The boys are just commencing their qualifying session. We'll have a quick look at some race info. So tonight is a 40-lap race. A couple of pit stops will be required. No necessity to take tyres, but no doubt a few of the boys will be looking to do that. So let's jump straight into qualifying and see who's setting the world on fire. I think the boys will just be heading out on a outlap at the moment. Actually, with Jake Jackson just heading down the long back straight. We're using the outer layout at Aragon tonight, so it's a very, very long back straight. Guys will have time to make a coffee and get themselves organised. And it's a fairly hard braking into. Oops, looks like Jake's internet is the same as most people's in Australia. Let's have a look and see if we can find someone else. It's Aaron Oliver. Yeah, it's a fairly heavy braking zone down into the last corner, but it's also a really good overtaking opportunity. So expect to see some moves down there once the racing gets underway. Aaron is just commencing his first lap. Meanwhile, Damien Seeger set a purple sector. Sam Muir's had a purple sector for sector 2, but that looks like it's been beaten now. Guys have got 3 laps or 10 minutes to set a time. There's not really a lot of time to be mucking around. You've got to get in and get the job done. It's a fairly big field tonight. I think somebody said we've got over 40 cars, so going to be a fairly hectic start. Jack Boyd about to set his first time. See if we can get some times up. As you can see from our overlay, we've managed to get all of the drivers into their respective groups, so we'll be able to see who's actually leading which group this week, which is good. But currently, it looks like it's Moz Moroz with the quickest time. Dean Logsdale, meantime, has set the quickest time in Group B, and it's Mitch McNaughton that now gone to the top in Group C. It's on board with Brad Bryant. Oh, it's a bit too much curb. Brad's on board. One of the Mercedes, as you can tell by the engine note. Turn the sound up a little bit on the engine. So they just hit the halfway mark of qualifying. Brad's currently up in second. He can improve on this lap. Jack Boyd currently in third. Damien Seeger's up into fourth. Brad stays second for the time being. Meanwhile, back in Group B. Used to looking at this many names. So this is Dan Bartouche on board the Porsche. Group B. Looks like a couple of the Group B boys are actually set times quicker than some of the Group A boys. Interesting. Done a couple of practice sessions over the last week at this track, and in all of those sessions, the Merc was way out ahead of the other 4 cars. But hopefully tonight, with the pit stop strategies, needing the fuel requirements, so I should balance it out. Meanwhile, Jack Boyd's just done what Jack Boyd does and goes to the top. Like Lee Harrison jumped into second now. Brad Ryan currently third, then Mos Moroz, Kyle Ridley, Rod Urbina down in 6th spot. As you can see from this corner, there's so many different lines you can take, just depending on where you brake. It looks like Dan's headed into the pits. Most of the boys would be probably coming towards the end. This is Matt Cesario in his work, one of the Group C boys. Currently tops the timesheets in Group C. Oh, Mitch McNaughton. Every time I look, it's changed. I think it looks like most of the guys have pretty much completed their laps now. Got a bit of a warm-up session while for the main race, 40 laps. It's probably going to take around 75 minutes with a couple of pit stops. So it's going to be a bit of a grueling test for some. And off tracks, of course, are always quite a handful at this track for some reason. A few people have nominated this as the new Spa. So with the off tracks, people are going to have to be very mindful of that with the incidents and the off tracks. They get a total of 24 for the race and 2 fast repairs. So hopefully everybody will just take it easy in the early stages. Like most people have all but finished. Daniel Gomes just crossing the line now. Just go to overall at the moment. So the top 9 are all, in fact, Group A. I think we'll wait for the last of the boys to complete. I think Daniel's actually the last one on track at the moment. Looks that way. It's Jason. No, Jason Locke is out there, but they've run out of time now. So wait for the results to come up, and should be able to show you the grid for 40 lap endurance race. While we're waiting for that, I'll go and get myself organised. 40 minutes, 40 laps, 75 minutes is going to be a long haul, so I think I'll go and grab myself a drink, and I will be back very shortly. 30 seconds left of the warm-up session before they grid up. Might look at how they'll grid up. So qualifying results show Lee Harrison on pole. Jack Boyd will be starting out of 2, Brad Ryan out of 3, Oz Moroz out of 4, Damien Seeger out of 5, Henry Fenson out of 6, Rod Urbina out of 7, then Kyle Ridley, Sam Muir, Dean Logsdale, first of the Group B boys, will be out of 10, then Matt Petrozek out of 11, Cody Harrison in 12. They're about to grid up. And now we get the actual grid as they start to do their pace lap. So down to Cody Harrison in 12th. For some reason it doesn't want to work now. Oh, there we go. So in 13th it's Dan Bartouche, Aaron Oliver in 14, then Glenn Boyd, Jake Jackson, Keith Logan, Wayne Losh, Mick Polly. Matt Tessario is 21st and the first of the Group C boys, followed by Scotty Baker, Mitch McNaughton. Page. We've got Michael Nancaro, Darren Linus, Ray Harrison, Andrew Pears, Dave Gogol, John Thorne, Chris Bleakley, Shannon Curry, Philip Paradiso, Daniel Gomes, Matt Acarius. Oh, this just keeps going, doesn't it? And we've got Lam Newen, Daniel Gomes, Matt Acarius, Graham Ellis, Andrew Roberts, Aaron Maguire, Adam St. John, Jesse Carrick, Tyson Gordon, Glenn Hill, Juan Dang, and I think that's it. 44 cars for tonight. Wow, this is going to be massive.
The starting formation with everybody's quad leaders.
Boys are just getting some final instructions from race director Damo, telling them to all behave. Hopefully, we don't want to see a massive pile up on lap 1. It's a big field of cars. Interesting to see how the strategies play out tonight. Got a few of the lower group cars that managed to find the spot on the grid a bit higher up than the Group A guys, but I'm sure they'll sort themselves out once we get through to the first round of pit stops. There's a couple of options that the boys can go with tonight. There's always the option to pit early, put enough fuel in to get you through to your second stop where you can fuel up to the end. The starting range on all the cars is at 40%, so based on some testing that we did earlier in the week, all of the cars are going to need over 100 litres of fuel. So said there will be 2 pit stops. It'll just be interesting to see whether anybody actually decides to take tyres during those stops. You can't refuel and change tyres. Changing the tyres actually takes longer, so I think a few guys may decide to go with one set of tyres, which will be interesting because I don't know whether they'll go the distance or not. Never really tested a long race, so yes, A lot to play out. Got a few blinkers on the grid. With such a big field, I'm not surprised. A lot of demos actually blinking in and out a little bit there. The pace car just coming through the final turn, so the pace car will be off in a minute. Waiting for Barney with his green flag. As you can see, the pace car pulls off into the pits in the background. Should be underway very shortly. Green light. Yep, they're away and racing. It's like everybody has got away safely. They head into turn one. Like Lee's grabbed the lead from Jack Boyd. Brad Ryan settles into third. Looks like Moz. Oh, Moz has gone around early. Wow. That cold tyres, I think, have caught Moz out. We'll just jump back and have a look. I don't think there was a touch from anyone. I think he's just managed to. Oh, he's got a lot of curb. Yep, he's managed to do that all on his own. Oh, that's going to make it a long race for Moz, but he's not out of it yet. So, being a 40-lap race, he's got plenty of time to make his way back through the field. Meanwhile, Lee jumped out to about half a second gap over Jack Boyd. Brad Ryan is currently in third. Henry Fenson has made his way up. Looks like we've got quite a few crashes in the back in the pack. This is Andrew Pears. I don't know what Andrew's. So somebody's. Oh, he's just. Oh. Managed to get into the side of Harrison there. Well, we were hoping for not much carnage on the opening lap, but it looks like that certainly hasn't been the case. We've got Graham Ellis. Also looks like he's been caught up in. Oh, looks like he's been caught out in this nearly up ahead. He's just nose to tail. That's not too bad. It doesn't look like the damage is too severe. Andrew Roberts has also had an off on the opening lap. Was he caught up in the same nearly? Yeah. Oh no, he's looks like he's managed to get through all of that. So that opening skirmish has cost quite a few drivers. It's a bit too early to be pitting just yet, so they'll have to make the best of the damage that they're carrying until they can actually get to the pit. Meanwhile, it's still Lee Harrison out in front. Jack Boyd currently runs second. Brad Ryan still in third. Henry Fenson is now fourth. Kyle Ridley in fifth. Rob Rodobina is currently sixth. Namo seventh. Sam Muir is in eighth. Cody Harrison is in 10th. Aaron Oliver in 11th and Wayne Losh in 13th. In Group B, it's Dean Logsdale. Looks like there's a couple of moves at the front. Looks like Brad Ryan's decided to get a hurry on. Henry Fenson's tried to follow him through, but get through on that occasion, so Lee still holds down second. And down in Group B, it's Dean Logsdale from Jackson. And Jason Locke, I think it's Jake Jackson. Meanwhile, in Group C, it's Matt Tesserario and Mitch McNaughton. It looks like Dean Logsdale is actually still managing to holding on to 9th spot, so he's ahead of a couple of the Group A boys at this stage. As you can see, the field's still fairly congested, so there'll be some chopping and changing, no doubt. Jump on board with Dean. Tries to navigate his way through. See what sort of top speeds. Open up the little dashboard. You should be able to see what sort of top speeds these boys can reach down this very long back straight. Reaching 250, should get up to around 263, 264, yep, 267, 68. Wow, the total's really making a difference to the big Merc. He gained quite a bit of speed down that straight. Meanwhile, still Brad Ryan up the front. Brad's just carded the fastest lap of 43.2. As the field makes their way through. Meanwhile, we've got Matt Serra, who's currently leading Group C. It's about 10 seconds off the lead, but you can see from the amount of traffic back here that it'd be hard to get any sort of rhythm and get into your lap times when there's so much traffic around. Especially when you're trying to avoid incident points. It's also in the big Merc. It looks like this this track really suits the Merc. For some reason, we haven't been able to work out exactly why, but it certainly seems to be one of those tracks. Well, back up towards the front. It's Jack Boyd currently in 4th, but Kyle Ridley behind him as Henry runs a bit wide there through the final turn. I said earlier, there's all sorts of different lines you can take through there, so Henry's just experimenting. Where's Glenn Boyd? We haven't seen a lot of Glenn tonight. There he is. He's currently back with Loshi. 14th. Meanwhile, Moz and Matt Petrozek currently in 25th and 28th outright, so they've still got a fair bit of work to do to get back into the race. But as I said, it's a long race. We're only on lap 5 now, so plenty of time. Darren Minus currently down in 23rd spot. Looks like two teammates, Scotty Baker and Keith Logan, running line astern. As Keithy just pops out to cover off any overtake through that final corner. Boys are currently 17th and 18th. Completely directly behind in the 92. Up on board with Chris. Might see what the two teammates are up to up in front. I think pit stops should come into play around about lap 10, 11, based on our fuel calculations. What I can remember. The Merc can run down the two McLarens down this back straight. I don't think that the draft or the toe is all that big for some reason. See, Chris isn't really making a lot of ground on the two boys in front. The toe seems to be somewhat negated. They head into the final turn. Well, we're back up the front with young Henry, who's worked his way up into third spot. Got a bit of a break now over young Jack Boyd, Kyle Ridley. There may be a bit of fuel strategy coming into play with some of the boys already so early in the race. I mean, you can save yourself a little bit of fuel early. It's less time in the pits when you do stop, so I think the smarter guys will be certainly trying to work out how they can save themselves a bit of fuel. But as we can see from the group settings, not much has changed in the way of the top three in each of the classes. They all seem to be fairly settled now. One of the times. Watching the cars. This is at the top of the straight as they navigate the left-hander onto the straight. See some of the cars get really, really unstable. They make their way down that long straight. Meanwhile, it's still Brad out in front. Jack Boyd's just set a quick time of 42.9 on that lap. While Dean Logsdale's low 43s, he's doing 43.3 that lap. And the boys in Group C around the 45 second. Oh, we've got another crash. It looks like Graham Ellis's race has gone from bad to not much better. Oh, he's just managed to lose it on that sharp hairpin turn onto the long back straight. Trying to get out of the way of all the other cars at the moment. We might work our way back through the field a little bit. So it's Jack Boyd, Kyle Ridley, Rod Avina. So you got the two BMWs, actually three BMWs. If we go back one spot, we've got Damien Seeger currently in 7th. He's being hassled along by Sam Muir at the moment. Sam's in the Merc. Then behind those we've got Aaron Oliver. Oh, what's happened to that's Cody Harrison? It's down in 11th, followed by Glenn Boyd. Loshy's still lurking around there somewhere. There he is. There's Loshy. I know Loshy, he's running his own race. He'll have his strategies all worked out. Be looking to grab a few spots a bit later on in the race. Meanwhile, at the front, still Brad with Lee currently keeping him company. A couple of tenths behind. Jump on board with Lee as he gets a tow down this long back straight, which will be helping him save some fuel, no doubt. Catches up the braking zone. I think Lee's quite comfortable there in second spot at the moment. There's a lot of different lines that the boys take on this track. It's a pretty wide track, so you've got a bit of room to experiment, getting in and out of these corners. The front five just broken away a little bit from Rod Urbina, who's currently still back in sixth. Jake Jackson. It's Glenn Boyd to get past as they head into the final turn. Oh, bit of contact. Glenn manages to get through. Boys are in different classes, so they don't really need to be racing each other. It's one of those really hard things to get through to drivers. Everybody just wants to race each other, but that's the whole reason we have the three groups, so you don't need to be racing against guys not in your group. The points for each group are the same, so if you finish first in your group, you'll get the same points as the winner in Group A and the winner in Group C. And at the end of the season, we're looking for an overall champion. So try to educate as many of these boys as I can that don't need to be racing against guys that aren't in your class, because ultimately you run the risk of coming undone and for little or no benefit, to be honest. So hopefully once the groups are finalised after tonight's round, the boys will settle down and let the faster groups through and look to battle amongst themselves. Looks like a couple of the boys have actually pitted. I noticed Loshy had dived into the pit, so said around lap 11 is when people can stop. Doesn't look like any of our leaders have stopped yet, as we can see from the screen, but I noticed Loshy definitely went into the pits. So he's going to run a completely different strategy to the leaders, which will make it interesting at the end. Loshy is back out on track. He's currently down in 31st spot, but he's got clear track. So if he can put in some decent lap times, and as I say, that looks like Damo might have jumped into the pits now as well. So Loshi and Matt Petrovic have both pitted. So when the other boys finally do their pit stops, we'll be able to see whether there's any undercut, any benefit to an undercut. As I said, the boys have got plenty of options open to them. They can run the tank right down, go in and do a fill, and then it'll be a shorter stop at the end. Or if you do the math and you're confident, you can do your short stop at the beginning, which should obviously help gain you some spots as long as you don't get caught in traffic. But it'll be interesting to see. I think these boys that haven't pitted now are going to get to the stage where they'll run the tank dry before they pit. Yep, no, they're all continuing on. I suppose when you're in a bit of a train, you're reluctant to give that away. We've got a couple of crashes further back, like John Thorne gone around on his own, had a lot, oh, and he's made contact with Jason Locke. Unlucky for Jace, had nowhere to go. Gloshy's had an off as well. Oh dear. Oh yes. All right. Enough said. Right. He's moving very slowly down. I think that might be John Thorne trying to get back to the pits. Another one of our Group B boys, looks like he's also come unstuck. Keithy's run very wide, managed to avoid everyone. Meanwhile at the front, it's still Brad Ryan. Stays out for another lap. A few of the boys in the background, I think that's Rod or Ebina that's just jumped into the pits. None of our Group B or Group C boys, the front part of those classes have pitted as yet. They're obviously going to run as long as they can. But Matt Cesario is actually pitting now, so as the leader from our Group C boys, he's jumped into the pits. Same with Mick Nancaro, he's also gone into the pits. It looks like Rod Urbina's come back out and he's just ahead of Damien Seeger, who's also pitted. Oh, looks like our leaders, Brad Lee, stayed out. Looks like Brad Ryan and a few of the other boys have decided to pit. So it looks like Lee and Jack have stayed out. I wonder if that's to do with the fact that they sat behind and the benefit of the tow for those opening for that opening stint.
Yeah, I'm pitting as well.
Guys, like Kyle's also stayed out. Interesting, a few guys have managed to stretch one more lap out of their starting fuel, whereas the majority of the field now has decided not to run the risk, taken their stop. So I'm guessing that both Lee and Jack will need to jump in and pit for fuel this time around. The first of the guys that have pitted is actually Henry. Henry's got back out on track ahead of Brad. Just wait and see whether the Lee and young Jack decide to pit this time around. Looks like they are, yep. Both heading into the pits, so that will put Henry, who is just at the just as we cross back to Henry, he's had a bit of a moment there at the top of the straight, which is going to cost him time. Got Brad Ryan behind him at the moment. So will these guys get refueled and get back out? Where will Lee and young Jack and Kyle Ridley, where will they all come out in the mix? So they're at pit exit, so it looks like they've both managed to get in front of Henry. Oh, there they are, both at pit exit, so this is going to be quite tight. Henry goes through. Looks like Jack's slotted into second now. Lee's in third. And Brad Ryan is now back in fourth. Kyle Ridley's in fifth. Sam Muir up in sixth. Rod Urbina is now seventh. Cody Harrison's up to eighth. Aaron Oliver is 10th. And Jake Jackson in Group B is currently ninth outright. Meanwhile, Dan Batouche has moved up into second, I think. Let's have a look where Dan is overall. Yeah, so Dan is currently behind. He's currently second. I don't know what's happened to Dean Logstar. Dean must have had a bad pit stop, because he's dropped right down into 24th spot now, so it's interesting. It's Jake Jackson that's currently out in front. Well, Moz Moroz has moved up through the field. He's made his way all the way back up to 11th, which is great to see after his opening lap disaster. Might jump on board with Moz in the cockpit of the Simrigs BMW. Takes the final turn to start a lap. See what sort of lap time he puts in this time. So 1:43.9 for Moz. Oh, meanwhile, our race director has had an off. Oh, it got on the gas way too early. Gets out of the way of the oncoming traffic, which is good to see. So, yeah, Moz is making hay while the sun shines. He's managed to, he's just outside the top 10 now, which is a great effort. So, meanwhile, back up the front, it's Henry leading from Jack Boyd. Lee's currently in third. Brad Ryan has joined onto the back of this train of 4 cars now, so not letting the leaders get away. Meanwhile, Kyle Ridley's dropped off the back a little bit, about 4 seconds off of the leading pack. Leaders are running around the 43.3s. Kyle just did a 43.9. He's about half a second at the stage, half a second off the per lap off the leaders. Well, down in Group C, it looks like Matt Sorio has done his pit stop and managed to hold on to the lead in that group, which is a great effort. He's got Mitch McNaughton directly behind him, and then Am Nguyen is currently up in third spot in Group C. Go through some of the runners in Group C. So this is Matt Arias, McLaren. We've got Aaron Maguire, Matt Tesario's teammate. Currently 5th in Group C. And a little further back is Phil Paradiso, a Porsche. We've got Ambo, Adam St. John, also in a Porsche. Adam's currently down in 33rd spot. We're just moving out of the way for some of the leaders there, but, trying to make their way through. Meanwhile, the front 4 have closed up fairly much nose to tail now. Yeah, right on board with Jack Boyd. Our front 2 at the moment are both in the Mercedes, and it's Aston Martin in third, another Mercedes in 4th, and then it's a Beamer in 5th. So we've got a bit of a mixture, but sadly it doesn't look like the Porsche is really made out for this track. And, I think Glenn Boyd is the leading Porsche at the moment. He's down in 12th, so no doubt there'll be tracks throughout the season that will suit some cars better than others, but certainly tonight it looks like the Merc is the quicker car around the Aragon track. May have something to do with the high-speed corners. Oh, Henry takes a big chunk of that inside curve. You see the car get unsettled there as takes the suspension to its limits. Jack's now closed right up on the back. Looks like, oh, he thought about it. He's certainly letting Henry know he's there. He's putting him under all sorts of pressure at the moment. is keen to get to the front. Just not sure Henry is quite that obliged. I think Henry prefers to run out the front.
Cheers, mate.
Overtaking Darren Linus there in the Merc. Darren had an off earlier in the night, I noticed. Go back and have a quick look and see what happened to Darren a bit earlier. Oh no, he's just come to a stop, so not sure what that was all about, but he's back out there racing. Might have been a technical issue. Meanwhile, we've got another spinner out in the back. This is Phil, who we were looking at just a while back. He's obviously had a lose at turn 1. Gets everybody through. Gets back into it. I've only got 2 fast repairs, so some of these damaged cars, they've got to sort of stick with what they've got until they can get to their last pit stop. Use the fast repair, because you don't want to be using it too early. Phil just moving out the way, let the leaders through. Well out of the way, so he doesn't hold Brad up. Bottom of the straight. While Jack's making the move up the inside, I think he should get the job done. Looks like Lee is also keen to follow Jack through. That's going to leave Henry out a little bit no man's land, especially with turn 1 coming up. Brad thinks about a move, but decides to pull back in behind Henry. So Jack Boyd goes to the front on lap 22 with Lee now up into second. Henry drops back to third, and Brad holding station in fourth. I wonder if Brad is using this part of the race to do his fuel saving, because Brad seems quite content just sitting there in fourth spot at the moment. Meanwhile, Kyle down in fifth is around about the 4 seconds, just under 4 seconds behind this leading group of 4. Now Lee puts Jack under a bit of pressure. There's a bit of cat and mouse going on up the front, I think. I think these boys are happy to keep putting a little bit of pressure on each other. Leading trio heading down the long straight again. Well, this is Cody Harrison, currently down in ninth spot. But Jake Jackson, who's still leading Group B at this stage, directly in front of him. Got a couple of the lap cars behind these two. Looks like most of the guys are still running. Looks like we've got a couple that may have left, but the majority of the field is still racing, which is great to see. Well, it's Matt Pietrzak. I'm sure you boys will let me know if I'm getting all these surnames wrong. But don't call me Old Greg for nothing. vocabulary starts to go with age. Matt's doing a really good job at the moment. He's also recovering from an earlier spin. Soldiering on. Currently 27th outright. As I said earlier, the outright positions don't really matter. It's more to do with your groups, and I think there's on average around 20 cars in, or just under 20 cars in each group. So there's still a lot of points out there if you can finish the race, and especially if you can keep the incident points down while you're doing it. That's the main thing. So try to minimize your incident points and finish the races, because it's a relatively long season. There's still a long way to go. We're only in round 2, and we do have a few drop rounds that the boys can use, so it's important that everybody just gets their head down and keeps racing, even on the bad nights. Meanwhile, back in 17th, we've got Roy Rigg. Group B boys. Having a fairly good race at the moment. 4th outright in Group B, which is a good effort. I'm not sure what happened to Dean, who was leading quite comfortably before the pit stops, but obviously something's gone amiss. He is making his way back through the Group B field, but currently finds himself a fair way off the podium in Group B. Be looking to put in some good lap times and try and get a few spots back over the remaining 16 laps. Up the front, it's still our 4-car train. Young Jack still leading from Lee, Henry, Brad Ryan. Kyle Ridley still doing a great job, holding down that 5th spot, followed by Rod Bina, who's also doing a great job. He's got a bit of company there. He's got Sam Muir very close. Is that Sam behind him, or it might be one of the other boys? Sam might be a bit further back. No, that is Sam. So yeah, the boys are fighting it out at the moment over 6th and 7th. Meanwhile, Cody Harrison, who is currently in 9th, is quite a way back off of both Rod and Sam. Got a bit of work to do to bridge that gap. Oz still finds himself down in the 11th spot. That's 7 seconds off the back of Aaron Oliver. Aaron currently sits 10th. The Penrite Mercedes. Oh, gets it very sideways. It's not the quickest way onto the back straight, but he manages to hold on to it. I think the boys probably got another 5 laps or so of fuel before they have to start thinking about their final pit stop. Meanwhile, it looks like Kyle in the background decided that he can refuel and make it to the end. GT4 have been pretty much nose to tail this whole stint. So I think it's going to get down to a bit of a sprint race at the end once they do pit. It'll be interesting to see if they all pit at the same time or whether one or two decide to try an alternative strategy. So Kyle has pitted. He's back out on track. Kyle Ridley, currently down in 14th. He's just managed to clear a couple of cars. So he's got relatively clear track. So if he can get in some decent lap times over the closing 15 laps or so, might actually still be in contention for a podium here. Looks like Matt Trzik has also done his second stop. Not sure if any of these boys are actually taking tyres or they're just taking the gamble, hoping they can get to the end. Four boys at the front start another lap. We commence lap 27 of 40. Looks like all the guys further back have decided to roll the dice. Namo has done his second stop now. It's currently down in 27th outright. Got Loshi just behind him in 28th. Both of those boys have done their two stops. Just ahead of Damo is Matt Trzik, who's also done his two stops. Matt finds himself in a little bit of traffic, but hopefully he can work his way through there. Meanwhile, at the front, Jack is still holding down that slender gap over Lee. Jumping forward, Lee. Heavy, whoa! He ran it very deep there into the final turn. And they're all staying out. So the top 9 at this stage are all still with one stop to make. So Moz has now made his second stop. That puts Moz is currently down in 21st spot, so he's got a bit of work to do. Oh. Meanwhile, it's like Kyle. Oh dear. No. I hate to say it, but yeah, that's not good. That's just not good. That's very unfortunate for Kyle, and definitely I think the stewards will be having a fair bit to say about that one. It's not good at all. Not when you're running at the front and you get taken out by a car from one of the lower classes. That's not what we want to see. So anyway, let's get back to the racing. So up the front, it's still Jack. Lee's now putting him under a little bit of pressure as they come through the final turn on lap 28. And no one's pitted. They're all going to go again. They've got Graham Ellis. Looks like Graham in front. We'll try and navigate their way through. Hopefully, yep, G does a better job of moving out the way, which he does. Looks like Jason Locke has found himself tied up in amongst it all as well, but backs out of it, which is really what the league's all about. Some of these guys in the lower classes certainly know what class racing is all about. Some of the others, yeah, bit of a learning curve, but I'm sure we'll get there. So meanwhile, looks like Darren Oliver, Sam Muir and Glenn Boyd are all in the pits at this stage. That's moved Rod Urbina up back into 8th spot. Surely the boys will have to pit soon. They're starting to confuse me now. Looks like Lee's decided that he wants to go to the front. I think Jack will hand that one over. This might play into Jack's hands actually, because Jack could actually dart into the pits. No, but Henry does. So Henry and Brad Ryan are both into the pits. Meanwhile, Lee and Jack are going to duke it out for another lap. Interesting, because it looks like both of these guys are actually slowing each other down a little bit. Very hard to slow either Jack or Lee down, but it does look like these two guys are arguing over the lead, so that may just give both Brad and Henry an opportunity. Maybe gain a bit of ground, especially now these guys are coming up on some slower traffic. Hopefully the guys will see them coming and give them space, which it looks like they have. Moves across. It's one of the Group B boys. Very well done. Lee's managed to get a little bit of a gap over Jack, but I'm sure Jack will be content. I think at the last pit stop, Jack was actually a little bit quicker than Lee, so these boys finally pit. It's going to be very interesting when they get back out on track, because Henry and so they've jumped into the pits. Oh, Henry, I'm not sure what's happened to Henry's on his own. I don't know what's happened to Brad Ryan. I have no idea. Hasn't really told me anything. I wonder if Brad's having internet issues of some description, because it was with Henry. Now it's Henry on his own. Wait and see. The boys are at pit exit, so looks like Lee's managed to stay in front this time as they come round. Oh, yes, so it'll be Lee back in front. Henry closing down as Lee tries to get the Aston back up and running after cooling down the tyres slightly through the pit stop phase. Oh, we've got a spinner in the background. Oh, managed to avoid the traffic. But, yeah, I have no idea. It's not. Unfortunately, the software is not telling me what happened to Brad, so we'll have to find out after the race. Disappointing. I was looking forward to a four-way battle. Brad's still out there, so I think. Or has he disappeared now? that has disappeared. All right, we'll stick with our front three. It's Lee, Henry, and Jack. Same podium as last week. As they cross the line, they'll have about 9 laps to go. Let's have a quick look and see where our leaders in. So this is our leader in Group B, which is Jake Jackson. He's currently holding down 6th spot overall, which is a fantastic effort. Doing really well. And then our leader in Group C is I'll find him with such a long list. Where has he gone? Oh, there he is. Currently in 15th overall is Lamb Ewan, which is fantastic to see. He's done his 2 stops now, so just needs to keep it clean all the way home. He's got Matt DeSorio currently running in 2nd in class, and Mitch McNaughton in 3rd, followed by Aaron Maguire in 4th, and Matt Vicarius in 5th. Is 5th in class at the moment. Up in Group B, it is Jake Jackson, as I said. And then it looks like Mick Polly currently holding down 2nd. Scotty Baker, his teammate, is in 3rd. And it's Dan Latouche, 14th outright, 4th in class. And he is followed by Andrew Pears, who is just making his way past one of the lap cars, making his way past Dean Logsdale actually. So this is actually racing for position, these two. Currently 16th and 17th outright. A bit further back is Rory Rigg, who finds himself a bit of traffic at the moment. Meanwhile, back at the front, the 3-car train continues with Lee out in front. Jack hot on his tail, and Henry in 3rd. They've got a lot of lap traffic to deal with over these closing laps, so a lot of things still to play out. He's trying to get as much tow as he can off of the car in front, who then moves over to get out of the way. Hopefully, Jack and Henry can get through. Yeah, they moved right out of the way, left the door open for the boys to get through, which is great. What we want to see. We're just getting past Ambo, who's making sure he stays to the side and doesn't move out onto the racing line. Meanwhile, Lee's just put in a 42.8 on that lap. I'm not sure whether he took tyres, but that is a cracking lap time. But, certainly got the hammer down. But meanwhile, Jack is very happy to just sit there for the time being. We start lap 34 of the 40-lap race. So after Henry in 3rd, it's now Sam Muir up into 4th. It's a great drive from Sam. Rod Urbina finds himself up 5th now in the top 5. Another great effort. Then it's Cody Harrison having a better week this week. And it's Aaron Oliver, currently in 8th. Oz Moroz has to be the driver of the night so far. He's made his way all the way back up to 9th after being nearly last. So that's a great effort from Moz. These two are teammates, so I'm not sure if there'll be any team orders, but I'm sure Moz will be looking to pick up as many spots as he can. And following Moz, it's Glenn Boyd. Then it's Damien Seeger, who is battling with one of the Group B boys at the moment. That's Scotty Baker, so hopefully Scotty realises that they're two different groups and lets Damo through at some point. Which he does. Moves across and Damo's taken the wider line, so this will be interesting when they get to the bottom. Scotty's done the right thing, pulled out and moved into the toe as Damo tries to work out his GPS system. Behind Damo, we've got Matt Petrusek, currently 18th outright. Matt's done a really good job as well, recovering from that earlier off. Now back up at the front again, and yep, it's still Lee and young Jack. They're joined at the hip. Jack looks like he's decided that now's the time to make the move. He's down the inside of Lee into the final turn. Looks like he's got that. He's going to cover that off. Lee's looking to get that spot back. They've obviously both got enough fuel to get them to the end. Or side by side through turn 1. Giving each other plenty of space. Jack should have the run up through the faster right-hander, which he does. He'll run wide, which will give Lee... Oh, Henry's bought into this as well now. This is going to be a very hectic final 4 laps, I've got a feeling. Said this is the same podium from race 2 last week, and I think all 3 of these boys want to be on the top step. He looks like he got a really good run off of that final corner onto the back straight. Right on the tail now of young Jack. He's going to look to try and get the pass done. He's pulled out of the toe. Oh, side side. They give each other room. He's got the inside running for turn 1 again. Or squeezes Jack. Jack runs slightly wide, but back on the gas to hold that inside line. Oh, side by side again. Henry thinks about making it 3 wide. Oh, and then Jack dives to the inside. Well, Henry doesn't know which way to go now. This is crazy. They're side by side again. Oh, Lee gets it a little bit crossed up, costing some valuable time off of that corner. Jack leading onto the back straight, but no doubt the tow will come into effect again. And I'm just going to go back and have a quick look. We've got a couple of crashes further back. This is out of St. John. Gone wide. Oh, that was a bit ugly. But they've both survived and managed to carry on. Meanwhile, back at the front, Lee's done it again. He's pulled out of the tow. Looks to hold the tight line through the final corner. Jack gets the better run. They'll be working this out for the finish line on the final lap.
Up you go, mate. Get up there.
And once again, Lee's got the inside running for turn one, but Jack will again hold firm on the outside. I think Lee's decided to pull in behind. I think these guys are actually experimenting to see which line is the quickest to the finish line on the last lap. Seems like everybody is getting themselves set up for that last dash out of the final turn to the finish line. So it's Jack leading again, but no doubt Lee will be looking to get the tow, and it'll be interesting to see which side of the track Lee sets himself up for into turn one this time around. Will he try the same as he has previously, or is he going to look for a different line this time around? Meanwhile, Henry's just sitting quietly in third spot. Henry's obviously hoping that these two cause each other a mischief, and he can maybe grab one of the top two steps on the podium. Oh, Lee moves to the inside last minute. Jack's already there. Jack sort of squeezed to keep that line, which he's entitled to do. So it's going to be Jack leading across the line. Slow it. Oh, I think that's Aaron Maguire in front, who just moves well out of the way. Let's them ball through. Like one of our favourite elite, Big G, went out of the pits. What's he? Oh no, he's just giving it away. So these three guys are going to lead it into the final lap. Sam Muir's still back in holding down fourth spot, and Rod Avina still holds down that fifth. But I think as we head down back straight to start the final lap, looks like young Jack's going to try and put a slower car in front. They've moved out of the way now, which is good. So as the boys are about to start their final lap. Shannon Curry just getting out of the way there.
Thanks, matey.
Jack's managed to get him about a half a second gap now over Lee. Lee will need to close that down before they get to the back straight if he's he wants to benefit from the tow again. Seeing you've got to pretty much be under the back bumper of the car in front to get the overtake done. There's a bit of slower traffic up ahead, so hopefully they don't They don't get in the way. Start the run down the back straight for the final time. Boys have been racing for just on an hour and 10 minutes so far, so there'll be a few worn out boys tonight. They should all sleep well. He's managed to close that gap down, but is it enough? How deep is he prepared to go under brakes? It looks like he's onto the back of Jack now. Jack moves across. Jack's going to make him go the long way. As they head in, and that's caused Lee to run wide. Looks like Jack's going to hold on to this one. It's Jack Boyd from Lee Harrison and young Henry Fenton grabs his second podium in a row. Great effort from young Henry. Sam Muir holds on to 5th spot. Jake Jackson home in 6th and first in Group B, which is a great effort. For those Moz fans, he managed to bring it home in 8th spot, followed by Aaron Oliver and Glenn Boyd. Big Polly, second in Group B, is a fantastic effort. Scotty Baker, so the Southern Cross boys get a double podium. Group B of managed to get a second and third, which is great. All right, I'm just getting a message telling me. Meanwhile, it's Lam Nguyen gets home first in Group C. McNaughton second, and Matt Tesorio manages to grab the third spot in Group C. So it was a big night of racing. Let's wait for the official results to come up as the rest of the field make their way over the line.
My strategy was to drop behind you so that you started burning some fuel. Because I only just got across the line. I thought I had it, but my car just it just died. It became straight. I was actually took me by surprise because I'm still showing 0.1 litres. So anyway, bugger, good fun. And podiums to go across. Thanks if you haven't already. Go across to the Discord. Cheers, GT4 Discord.
I was just trying to get the internet back up and running. I'm not sure that it's back up or not, but we'll give it a crack. We've got the 3 podium finishes, which, believe it or not, are the same 3 that finished in these positions last week. So First of all, young Jack.
Hello. Yes. Yeah. Super long race there. Yeah. Saved fuel in the first stint. Got a lap, I think it was. I think Lee was on the same strategy. That was good for us. And then, yeah, the last 10 laps was pretty much just racing each other as it held in there. And yeah, it was a pretty good race.
I noticed a few times, especially into that final turn, that guys were going at it fairly hard. So it's good to see that all three of you managed to cross the line. And Lee, another second place.
Yeah, look, Jack's just too good. Good fun racing though. It's fun when you can race someone that hard, and the only thing you get is a 0x or a 1x running off track. I reckon in the last 4 laps, I doubled my incident count from the whole race, just racing with Jack like that and having to push each other. But awesome fun race. We were on a good strategy. Obviously, we saved a bit of fuel in the first and second stints and gave me a bit to play with at the end of the race. But Jack came out on top and he just baited me into that last corner, and I went in about 25, 50 meters too deep. So he's just too good. And one day I'm going to knock him off this top step fair and square.
And Henry, another podium.
Yeah, it's a good start. I'm pretty happy to run behind these guys every week. They're really, really quick, and if it's not for the tow, I probably wouldn't be able to keep up with them. But I had to save a bit of fuel at the end, and my front tires were non-existent, so I couldn't really try and keep up with them or run with them. I took rear tires during my pit stop, and that seemed to work pretty well to save me. But I did get an off track running on cold tires too hard.
Still a great effort. And anyone you want to thank, Henry, while you're here?
Oh yeah, I'll just thank Stockman's again. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys for another stream and another great race, and can't wait for next week.
And Lee, anyone you want to thank?
Yeah, obviously Pro Karts Baraka. Come down and try the sims out or try the go-karts out. It's a good fun place. And Negative Camber, Revhead Harry, the Twitch stream, and check it out if you want to see my cockpit view and maybe even learn some stuff, especially if you're driving in the Aston as well. Like you could probably learn some lines and stuff and try and put them into practice. But you guys for putting on the broadcast all the races, and of course Jack and Brad and Henry for some pretty nice racing this afternoon.
And Jack, finally.
Yeah, just yourself for the stream. It's that would have been a long one, so hopefully it wasn't too bad for you. And yeah, just a big thanks to Lee for some clean racing. It was really enjoyable. Thanks, guys.
No worries. And we've got Loshy in. Are you with us, Loshy?
Yes, mate. Just thought I'd jump into the old commentary. I don't ever earn my way in here, so I just thought I'd just kick the door down.
That's you had a bit of luck tonight, but unfortunately it wasn't good.
Yeah, that's the way it goes sometimes, but still had a lot of fun. And I just came in here to do a new part admin Wayne Award. I say driver of the day goes to Henry Fenson to put it on the podium and only have 2 incidents on that racetrack. That's a really good job, Henry. Super effort, mate. So it's nothing fancy. It's just a Wayne driver of the day, and I give it to you. So there you go.
There you go, Henry. There, you get driver of the day for 2 incidents. Wow, that's incredible on this track. I didn't think anybody was going to get less than at least 5. So well done. I don't know about Jack and Lee. Did you boys rack up a few?
I ended up at 11, but I think with about 4 laps to go, I was still on 6.
And Jack?
Yeah, I think I had 7. I think.
Wow.
Yeah, 7. Yep.
So Hobbo, if you're out there listening tonight, there is still hope. You can jump back in next week. You've had your 3 drop races. Hopefully the family photographs will be done, and you'll be able to jump back in and battle it out with these boys up the front as well. Actually, we've got Jake Jackson in the green room. I might drag him in. Jake did a really good job. He actually finished 6 overall, I think, and was winner in Group B. So I might just quickly drag him in. You with us, Jake?
Yes.
What a great drive tonight, mate. What was it? 6th outright and winner in Group B.
Yeah, I think so. I just had to quickly go through the replay to make sure I was the winner. I was a bit confused where I came out of class, but yeah, kind of pleased with that.
Yeah, no, we sort of watched you over the 40 laps, and you did a really good job. Stayed relatively clean, and yeah, well done. Anybody you want to say thank you to for the racing?
No, just the boys that 1-9 in the purple cars, just those chaps really. And the GT4 Rumble pulling out such a clean racing GT4 league, which is good. So pumped for this series.
We do our best. Sometimes it doesn't always go to plan, but we certainly do the best that we can. All right, boys, on that note, we might wrap it up for round 2, and hopefully we'll see everybody back on track for round 3 next week, which is going to be a doozy. We've got a couple of sprint races coming to you from Canadian Motorsport Park, of all tracks. So unless somebody can convince me otherwise, I look forward to seeing 40 plus cars on Canadian Motorsport Park next week. Until then, everybody take care, and we'll catch you same time next Monday night.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thanks,
Later.
Oshie.
No worries.